just because kind of I'm going in ranked quickest doesn't mean I'm not going to be nervous or kind of on my toes, because kind of anything can happen and I need to be on my game. I need to be concentrating, and it's great to know that kind of I'm in a great place physically and mentally. But on that day when you step on the track, as we've kind of seen last year, every year in my career, that anything can happen. So it'll be a great experience, and I just hopefully I can get round and just enjoy my time, and just give the fans a good time, really.
Welcome to Beyond the Games, our unique insight into Guernsey 2023. Ahead of Guernsey Athletics' announcement this week of their biggest ever track and field squad, we spoke with 400 metre hurdle star Alastair Chalmers about what the Games means, his sport, and his World Championship and Olympic ambitions.
I mean, it's kind of such a good international competition for the small islands, and it's kind of when I was 15, I went to Jersey and had such a good time there. So for it to be kind of where I'm from is a no-brainer for me. Even if I don't run particularly fast or whatever like that, I just want to come home, kind of wear the Guernsey vest this year and perform in front of a home crowd of friends and family.
Footslane's been important to your career as well. I mean, we've seen some special moments down at the track.
Yeah, I mean, from kind of early ages, kind of 13 and beyond, really, I've always started my seasons off there, and especially in 2020 in COVID, my personal best really dropped down, and it's such a fantastic track, really quick, and it's a lovely new color, and just so much money's been put into it, which is lovely, and you can see that all the younger athletes are really loving it, and so many good competitions are put on now by Tom and all the team around him. So it's really lovely to see that kind of the grassroots of Guernsey with athletics is really being pushed and growing at a really great rate. So hopefully see a lot of those younger athletes at the Games, as kind of I was when I was at Jersey. And I'm sure they'll have such an amazing time, and it'll also give them kind of a bit of an insight to international competing. I know they'll be at home in Guernsey, but just receiving all the kit and seeing kind of older athletes from all around the world it'll just put things into perspective for them, and some of the athletes will use that and really just propel on, and some athletes might choose, do you know what, this isn't for me. And so it's such a good kind of learning experience, and also just a great atmosphere to be in for younger athletes, especially coming from a little island like Guernsey.
I mean, I guess that there's some important lessons to be learned there in terms of, I mean, all call room procedures and the nerves and everything that goes with that on a big day, which, I mean, will you be passing on some of your experience there if you can as well?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to chat to anyone who's kind of wanting any experience or any kind of help in any way, that I can be there for. And yeah, I mean, as you said, like the call room stuff like that, I mean, we don't do that in Guernsey. So when you go to the UK and kind of around the world, it's just another thing to think about and learn. And I'm sure we'll see that at the Island Games, and all these younger athletes will get a really good insight to it. And I mean, I'll be there. Just because kind of I'm going in ranked quickest doesn't mean I'm not going to be nervous or kind of on my toes, because kind of anything can happen, and I need to be on my game. I need to be concentrating, and it's great to know that kind of I'm in a great place physically and mentally. But on that day when you step on the track, as we've kind of seen last year, every year in my career, that anything can happen. So it'll be a great experience, and I just hopefully I can get round and just enjoy my time, and just give the fans a good time, really.
I mean, I guess, especially with your event, it could be so technical as well. Anything can happen on the day.
Yeah, it's very technical, and it's very hard on the body. So if something isn't really firing or going well, then you'll definitely see it in the performance. So I'm sure a lot of the athletes will be on their A game, because for a lot of athletes, this is like the kind of Olympics of the year. So everyone's going to be peaking for Games. Everyone's going to be just everything's leading towards the Island Games. For myself, it's kind of just another hurdle in my season, but it's definitely going to be probably the most fun and exciting competition I'll do all year. So I'm just really looking forward to it. And as you said, like, yeah, in my event especially, sometimes you won't actually get around. So it's going to be one to just, I'm sure everyone on the start line will be zoned in and just wanting to go for the medals, really.
Have you been keeping an eye on what's been happening over here as well? Because we've seen some like really good performances. Like you talk about the performances, like sort of peaking towards the games. So I think we can definitely see that from our athletes.
Yeah, I have. I've been seeing a lot on Facebook and Twitter, and it's lovely. I mean, seeing Peter Curtis, who kind of like I know pretty well, kind of doing 400s, 110 hurdles, and then my old coach Dale doing the long jump, and even all the younger athletes doing the hundreds, 200s, and some of the 800s. It's great. It's absolutely great. And do you know what? You get such a good feel. Well, I do anyway when it's Island Games year because. It's a shame it's not kind of every year in some ways because it gives so many opportunities and it gives such a buzz to athletes to like all that hard work and all that training is worth it. And so when there's a down year of no Island Games, you definitely see definitely like lower performances because you don't have that real drive through the winter months and even coming to the season, the real nerves and kind of the dreams of being at the Island Games. So yeah, so many good performances lately in Guernsey that hopefully if they're doing that just in a normal Guernsey competition, when you put that vest on and your mum and dad and your friends and family and all these fans are in the crowd, I'm sure that PB season's best will come. So it'll be lovely. It'll be great.
And taking you back to your own season, how's it been going so far? Because I know you were going to take a bit of downtime after the Commonwealth Games. So you take us through a bit about how the winter and everything's gone.
Yeah, I mean, after the Commonwealth Games, I decided to pull out of the Europeans just because I'd kind of done what I wanted to do. And I wasn't in a good place physically after being ill. So I thought, you know what, just go back to Guernsey, enjoy my time. And it was lovely. I was there for a couple of weeks and saw loads of people, did a few little sessions with a few guys, and then had a couple of weeks off in the UK and then just got back to it kind of like end of October. And I've just been hustling ever since, really. Unfortunately, I tore the top of my hamstring in March. So that wasn't kind of the best, but I mean, I've had such a good rehab process and I haven't been injured for so many years. So I've got so much training behind me and yeah, I'm in really good shape and hopefully kind of as the months and weeks go on, I'll just keep kind of getting better and yeah, just keep trying to just do the best I can because at the end of the day, like you can set goals, you can set all this, but your body can only do so much and you see it with athletes all the time. So I've been very fortunate to be injury free for the last 5 years, 6 years of my life. So having a little niggle in my hamstring a few weeks out really is not a big deal. It's probably actually a good thing to give my body a bit of a rest. So it's all right. But yeah, just heading in the right direction, trying to stay positive and just being as precise in training as possible every day.
Is there anything particularly you've been working on as well to make those improvements?
Yeah, I'd say probably my top bend of my race needs improvement because I usually get to the halfway point, 200 meters, pretty well. But then that top bend section is where I kind of lose a couple of tenths. And in my event, especially, a few tenths is quite a bit. So just trying to nail that down and put that together. And I think we've kind of got it. So I'm training tomorrow. I'm putting it together as well. So hopefully for my next race on the 10th, hopefully you'll see kind of what I've been working on. And it's always hard as well because it's always that end stage of the race. And in training, you don't really get to practice it. So you've either got to take a leap of faith in the race or you've just got to, in training, go to hurdle 9. I'm going to hurdle 9 tomorrow. So it's just how it is, but it's training at the end of the day. You've got to try things. You've got to put yourself out there and you're not going to get better by just doing the same stuff year after year after year. So you've got to mix it up. And as I said, take a bit of a leap of faith and just give something a go. And if your body can do it, it can. And if it can't, then that's just how it is. So, yeah.
Can you take us through a little bit about what happened in your season opener as well?
Yeah, unfortunately, hit hurdle 10 and fell over, which isn't great. And it's poor, very poor, because of course the level I'm at, I should not be doing that. I mean, it happens to athletes, and it's just unfortunate that I didn't just clip it. I actually fell over and I couldn't save it. So yeah, it's a real shame. I was on for a really good time, probably about 49, 2 or 3. So that would have been my fastest season opener. And especially after being injured recently, that would have been a great place to start off at. But do you know what? Like, even not finishing the race, I got to hurdle 10, and I knew where I was going to probably finish through the line. So knowing in that race, and I made a few little mistakes as well. And the first race is always a bit apprehensive and kind of just getting your body used to racing. So if I can open up in 49.3, which I probably would have done, then hopefully this next race with a bit more training, a bit more time and concentration, I can go run hopefully 48, maybe the world standard 48.7. So it's all moving in the right direction. It's just with my event, it's so technical that you turn off for 1 second and it's lights out, game over. So yeah, I'm learning about my event year on year. It's I think at the start when I did 4 hurdles, it was kind of just get over the hurdles and stuff like that. But now it's every part of that section of the race is just thinking of different things about, could be stride length, it could be just extending things or pushing a bit harder into the hurdle, or like, it's very technical. And I mean, I've done pretty well in my career so far, but I'm still learning about the event, and I quite kind of like that, because hopefully that'll just make me run faster and make me more experienced, so then it can just help me in the future, really.
That learning is always going to keep you interested in the event as well. Like,
yeah it's very difficult, of course, doing like what we do, because like it is a job for us, and it's hard. Year after year you're doing the same kind of training. We try and mix it up and add new things in to kind of like see what we need to improve on. But yeah, I mean, I think you don't lose the love of it until you've either done everything you've wanted to do, or you know that your time's done. I know I'm 23 years old, my time is not done, and I have not done everything I've wanted to do. So I still have so much interest in the event. And yeah, the moment I like get to a stage in my life or career that I know that it's kind of, I hit the top and I'm moving down and I'm down here, then that'll be a time to think about it. But at the moment, I'm enjoying it. It's so amazing what we do, and just keep on pushing, kind of month after month, really.
and how's your season going to play out now? What's on the diary?
So I'm racing in Switzerland, kind of next Saturday. Then I've got a potential race a couple of days after. That hasn't been confirmed yet. And then potentially, well, then we've got the British Champs, which is the start of July, and then Island Games, and then potentially I'm racing in France after the Island Games, and then hopefully World Champs if I got the standard. I mean, if I've got the standard and I go, that's great. If I don't get the standard, then life moves on. I'll just keep training and I'll keep racing, because if I can compete at the end of August, September, and I run the standard, that'll qualify me for the Olympics for next year. So I've got targets and I've got goals in my head if things don't go to plan, that we can go another route. So, but you just got to have an open mind. I'm not just going to throw in the towel and like, oh, I'm going to go on holiday and call it a season, that's it. No, I'm going to keep competing, because I mean, we train for like 7 months of the year, and I want to actually race a bit. But it's looking like an exciting season because of I think the Island Games being in there just as, I don't know, it'll just be a nice bit of like fresh air to breathe in, really, because I haven't really had a competition like that for a long time. So it'll be lovely, especially back home. It'll be lovely, yeah. It'll be great.
How's the sport developing as well in terms of like your rivals, and like we've already seen some good times already this season, so.
Yeah, I'd say especially in my event, it's I mean, what usually happens is when one person pushes on, everyone pushes on. And around the world, my event, and it's fine to say my event is the hardest event in the world right now, which is good, but they're not good at the same time. Because it really engages spectators, but then it's really hard to like get in races and everything. Because what kind of Carson Warholm and Ry Benjamin have done with the event is just silly. It's kind of like just we're at the top of 4 hurdles now, I think we'll ever be in life. I don't think we'll ever get to this stage again. So yeah, I think it's just, yeah, every event's difficult and every event's got its little technical aspects to it. But yeah, it's around my country anyway, Great Britain. It's very good. I think me running 48 last year have really pushed the other boys to try and get down. And of course, I love the competition. I mean, I thrive off of it. Like when it's a big competition, I usually run my best, and I think that's what they hate of me, because they know when I turn up on the day, it's going to be an unfortunate one for them. But you can already see the season. Two of the guys have ran 49 mid, so it's going to be a good season. I mean, the Olympics is next year, so it's all kind of building up, and even in the 400s, you can see the standards coming right up. It's looking really hard, and so like Cam, for example, he's going to have to really put a shift in, because the 400s, the last kind of 5 years have been quite weak, and so now it's coming back to quite a good level. So even for myself, we've got to have our A game on all the time, and yeah, it's looking good. But you just got to concentrate on your lane, and whatever other people run, they run. It's on the day which matters really.
And for people that are going to be less familiar with the 400 hurdles, could you just maybe take us through what your race day routine typically is, and how you'll approach the race as well?
It depends kind of on the time, if it's in the evening or the morning, and everybody has, honestly, completely different preparation up to the games. For myself, if I'm running in the evening, it's breakfast and then kind of just literally doing as little as possible. And then kind of just, your body knows you're running, like you can feel the nerves, like you can barely eat sometimes, and your body's preparing kind of like for battle. And so it's just about trying to keep yourself calm, but also knowing you're racing, and then just heading down to the track in some good time before, to kind of like chill out in the environment and listen to some music maybe, and then just crack on with your warm up as fast or as slow as you want to, basically. And I mean, sometimes when you go overseas to Europe or America or whatever, it's very different and it's absolute chaos, and like you've got to like find the lane. But for guys in the Island Games or whatever, it will be absolutely fine. It's just sticking to your routine. You've got to just do what you've always done. Don't think, oh, I'm competing in the Island Games or the Commies or the Olympics, like let's just change everything. You've got to this place because you've stuck with what you've known and what suits you best. So with me, I'm sure people look at me and they think, what is he doing? But it works for me, and I'm sure I look at other people. So just stick to what you know. Like, I mean, everyone's raced before, and if you've raced really well and done a PB, just keep doing that, and I'm sure your body will respond really well to it. So and just getting some good sleep as well the night before. So many athletes really struggle to sleep the night before because, of course, they're anxious and nervous about the next day. But if you can try and just have your mind off of the race the next day, just try and sleep well, then you'll wake up so ready and fresh to race. I've seen so many athletes I know who are in great shape, but then they've slept badly because they've stayed up too late, or they're just lying there thinking about their race and it's ended badly. So just try and be as calm as you can before the day, and then on the day it's just about doing what you usually do, and I'm sure it'll turn out okay.
And how important is Island Games as well? It's a showcase for track and field. I mean, it's got to be it's got to be good for the sport, hasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. It's an international competition, and I mean, there's always some big names coming in, and it's just a great. I've always said it's such a great experience for the little islands, and especially kind of it's like for Guernsey, it's just a little step up, and then after that, the Commonwealth Games, because we get such good opportunities. These kids in England, they won't get these opportunities unless they're literally right at the top. So all the guys in Guernsey who maybe aren't at that stage yet will get such a good experience of competing internationally, not against Wales or Ireland or Scotland. It's against Bermuda, Gibraltar, Gotland. It's against the Cayman Islands. It's such an amazing competition. So, and I felt that when I went to Jersey and even Gotland, it was like you're stepping on the track and you feel like you're in the world champs or the kind of the Olympics, because you see these men or these women around and they've got these crazy vests on, and you're thinking, wow, like I'm actually in a pretty good environment here, and I've got a really good chance of running well. So it will be great, and I think it's just a really good stepping stone for athletes to gain experience, have some fun with it, but also like see what they can really do on the big, because it is a big stage for Guernsey. Like Guernsey's a little island. There's not loads of kind of opportunity. I mean, for any little island, so being given the Island Games, it's like a free pass to like, here you go, here's a very rare thing which can happen every 2 or so years. So yeah.